Namaskaram, everyone. Welcome to the Masterclass in Vedic Wellness, brought to you by the Vedic Wellness University, a pioneer in blending the ancient Vedic wisdom with the modern wellness practices. As you know, that Vedic Wellness University is an esteemed higher education learning institution registered under the Florida Education Board and holds the approval of the State Education Department in Florida. As a pioneer in the field of holistic wellness, our university offers a comprehensive range of higher education programs, including the diploma, master degrees, and research opportunities in the disciplines of the yoga, wellness, arts and culture, and Vedic sciences. And we have three schools: School of Yoga and Wellness, School of Arts and Culture, and School of Vedic Studies. And at Vedic Wellness University, we believe in empowering the individuals to lead a purposeful, balanced lives through the holistic education and transformative learning experiences. Today's session is an invitation to explore the timeless principle of Vedic wellness and discover their relevance in our fast paced world. Let's embark on this inspiring journey together and unlock the power of ancient wisdom for the modern living. Let's get ready for this enlightened and motivated session. And I welcome our panel members, Dr. Ruchi Gulati, Sri Aditya Ranganji, Mrs. Krishnamurthy, Rashmi Krishnamurthy, Prasanna Madiseti, and Mr. Krishnamurthy ji.
Yeah, namaste everybody. This is Rashmi Krishnamurthy. I'm the co-founder of Vedic Wellness University and also heading the program department. And we have been working on launching this master's program in Vedic Wellness from last 1 year. And I would like to explain, first of all, what is wellness. Wellness is a very broad term, and it differs from culture, it differs from country to country, it differs, the concept differs for the different age segment. And overall, it's a very broad term to classify. And wellness cannot be said, it is in the absence of illness because it's a much broader term. In the health industry, a lot of focus was earlier given to physical wellness until WHO mentioned few years back that more than 95% of the diseases are psychosomatic in nature. Then the whole world started focusing on mental wellness. Nowadays, you see a lot of people talking about their therapies and taking counseling and taking psychological advices, all these things. So, but this was not there earlier. So every time when we talk about wellness, there is an evolution, like we evolve. And after COVID, there is a whole new dimension to understand health and wellness. We understand the importance of having good immunity and giving importance to naturopathy, Ayurveda, and also giving importance to our Vedic lifestyle. The whole world started observing and understanding the importance of having a good lifestyle and having a naturopathy in its epicenter. Like nowadays, many health and wellness coaches are offering their services, but there is a gap here. So, but they do not completely address the 5 dimensions approach and a 360-degree approach, I mean, to wellness. We would like to give importance to all aspects of wellness, that is the physical aspect, mental aspect, spiritual aspect, social and financial aspects. And when we talk about the healing and transformation, first the healing and transformation has to happen within the coach, and then he can facilitate that to his client. So in our course, we not only teach all these dimensions of wellness, we also want to make it as a platform for professionals to thrive, to become Vedic coaches and to impart Vedic education and lifestyle to their clients and help them in total wellness. So this is just a brief introduction on wellness, how we think about wellness. And I'm sure like you will enjoy our speakers today, like eminent speakers. We have Dr. Sri Aditya Rangan and Dr. Ruchi Gulati, who will be explaining further on our Vedic wellness approach. Namaste, everyone. Thank you.
I would like to introduce Mr. Aditya Rangan. He's the founder of the Abhyangsha Veda Pathshala, a non-profit Vedic school for harnessing the Vedic chants. He's also a senior engineer at Cyprus Semiconductors, and he has completed his MTech in VLSI and ES and MA in Sanskrit. He's a university topper and gold medalist in Sanskrit. He's a spiritual artist with special interest in Shabda Yoga, Mudra Yoga, and few rendition of authentic Ved mantras with a healing music. Over to you, Shri Aditya Ranganji, for today's session.
Namaste. Thank you for the nice introduction, Simranji. Namaste to Mrs. Rashmi Krishnamurthy ji and all the panelists. And hearty welcome to all the participants in this webinar. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Harihi Om. Namaste, Namasadase, Namo Veda Purushaya. As already mentioned, today life is quite fast-paced with lot of changes in priorities, be it professional or personal. We have our daily routines, daily activities that we need to take care of. In this rat race like life, we often get lost in the thoughts of what is right, what is wrong, what is healthy for our lives and what is quite unhealthy. Also, today's generation has lost the connect to what is beneficial for life and what is not. More than understanding what is apt, they go towards what they love rather than what adds value to their life. Thanks to various diversions in life like social media or any other kind of negative things in life. This leads to a lot of problems, multiple problems at different levels. It could be at the professional level or personal level. And indeed, as considered to our ancestors, we are definitely slowing down in this process, though we lived a very fast-paced life. This has led to also low mechanical consciousness. Life is just about taking care of our basic necessities, ensuring that we just earn our money, we just take care of our family without actually taking care of family. When I say so, it is just like it has just become a routine lifestyle with very low consciousness, low awareness, and not exactly much mindfulness in what kind of tasks that we do in our daily lives. So it has been observed, of course, various research has been done, and as mentioned by Srimati Rashmi ji, the WHO has also found out that it becomes very important to take care of our health. When we say health, it is not only at the physical level, but it is at the 5-dimensional level. These 5 dimensions are interconnected. That is, one cannot thrive without the other. There are various kinds of ailments, illness that we undergo. But then overcoming these illness or ailments is not the only thing that matters, but also to maintain a constant lifestyle, which is considered to be well. When we say well, it is with respect to our well-being. These 5-dimensional well-being, of course, is based on physical level, at where we have different ailments. It could be bodily pain, etc. Mental level, where it can be at the emotional level, or it can be at the psychological level, at the intellectual level. Spiritual, of course, where we lose connect to our soul, the purpose of life, understanding the philosophy and metaphysics of life. Social level, our relationships with our family, friends, and peers. And of course, not the least, at the financial level. That is, we need to understand the value of the wealth that we generate and also maintaining the wealth. Wealth can not only refer to money, but also kind of prosperity in terms of resources that we have in the form of nature. As a solution which has been followed since ancient times, which has been scientifically formulated, has to be not only theoretical, but also practical. This practical approach is provided by the Vedas. The Vedic lifestyle provides a holistic approach. A holistic is nothing but a 360-degree approach to solve all these kinds of problems at different levels. It enables to maintain harmony not only within, not only outside, but also through the surroundings, also with respect to the universe. It connects the gap between microcosm and macrocosm. These Vedas were scientific incantations that have vibrated at a certain frequency. They were seen by various rishis or sages who are at a very high level of consciousness. These Vedas consist of Veda mantras, which are holy chants that are recited in order to bring about positive energy. They are also made up of tantras, which are like actions, which are esoteric diagrams that enable to generate positivity and manifest things. And of course, yantras, which are like a medium in order to communicate these energy techniques. They vibrate at certain cosmic frequencies, which we need to understand. And the application is based on not only just reciting, just as a part of a religious ceremony, but also diagnosing and analyzing different ailments, different kinds of problems that we face, and provide solutions through these Vedic mantras. Of course, the knowledge of Vedas requires Sanskrit, the knowledge of Sanskrit. Sanskritam is an ancient language which is known as Deva Bhasha, the divine language of gods, which is structured in a very scientific way, where each syllable carries humongous amount of energy, which is quite extraordinary, which cannot be described through words. When each syllable has so much energy, just imagine the power of the group of letters or words that make up the whole mantra, which is chanted so that it can generate so much energy that it can bring about positivity, change the perception, and heal ailments, ultimately lead to what we call as attraction and manifestation of what we need in life. When we say what we need in life, it is not only the basic needs, but also fulfill all kinds of materialistic or spiritualistic goals. This can be achieved only through action. In our day-to-day life, we perform different kinds of action, right from the time we get up from our bed to the time we sleep. Now, these actions are nothing but what we call as karma. Karma theory is a vast theory where we need to understand the gap or even the connection between what is action and what is reaction. So we also deal with the concept of karmic reactions, where we cleanse and realign karmas. We would have done, people would have undergone various kinds of ailments, various kinds of challenges in life. And these Vedic mantras are definitely beneficial to bring about realignment of karmas, cleanse karmas, purification, and again, understand the importance of doing good karma versus avoiding bad karma. These karmic reactions also enables people to understand their own self, their own well-being. Of course, this is also directed at the 5 dimensions, as mentioned before. In order to understand more about the connection between the Vedic mantras and their effect on karmas, we also concentrate in this course on Vedangas, that is the Shiksha, Chandas, Vyakarana, Nirukta, Jyotisha, and Kalpa. What is Shiksha? It is the law of phonetics, how mantras have to be chanted in Vedic Samskrita. Chandas, prosody, how mantras are arranged in a specific order so that they can be directed towards healing specific things in life. Vyakarana, grammar, which is the knowledge of different kinds of Sanskritam syllables, vowels, alphabets, etc. Nirukta, the meaning or the contextual meaning of mantras as per what has to be recited in order to heal certain ailments, what has to be recited in order to bring about prosperity in life, etc. Jyotisha and Kalpa. Jyotisha and Kalpa are a vast domain. Jyotisha refers to astrology, where we get to know the knowledge of the planetary positions, birth chart analysis, trying to understand a person's behavior based on his planetary positions, provide some guidance in life based on the Vedic theories, and then apply it on a daily basis. It has been observed that these remedies have had lot of impact on the behavioral patterns of persons who have followed them. So astrological remedies, of course, it involves various recitation of various mantras, performance of certain karmic actions in the form of donations, charity, in the form of spiritual activities, religious ceremonies, etc. Kalpa refers to the religious activities in terms of performing sacrifices. It could be in the form of fire sacrifice. It could be in the form of daily rituals. Fire sacrifice refers to Agnihotra. Agnihotra is a process which involves purification of the surroundings through recitation of mantras in presence of Agni, the deity of fire. Fire is an energy which is inherent in all cosmic matter, be it a living organism or a non-living organism. It is through fire that you generate warmth from the body, and it also associates itself with the electromagnetic interference that surrounds every body, electromagnetic field. So Agnihotra involves conjunction of mantras with Vedic rituals, so it has multifold effect. And also daily practices like the Sandhya worship, the worship of the sun god. Sun god represents improvement in health. He is the provider of life, generation of wealth in the form of resources, in the form of flora and fauna, prosperity, etc. So these are basic certain examples of daily rituals that we learn through Kalpa. So all these topics are covered in the syllabus of Masters in Vedic Wellness. We also talk about Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga, Mimamsa, that is Purva and Uttara. These are just philosophical systems where we get to know different types of Indian philosophies when we need to talk about at spiritual level, about spiritual matters. For example, from Vaisheshika, we understand the concept of atomic consciousness. From Sankhya, we get to know the concepts of Purusha and Prakriti, that is the feminine and masculine energies in life, and then we direct those energies towards our well-being. Through yoga, we get to know the basics of Ashtanga Yoga, that is right from pranayama meditation techniques till dhyana or samadhi, that is ultimate meditative state. Through Mimamsa, we get to know the proper worship of deities, the Vedic deities, connect to nature through rituals. And through Uttara Mimamsa, which is also known as Vedanta, we understand the metaphysics and ontological systems, that is in the form of Advaita, Vishishtadvaita, or Dvaita. Understand the connection between what is soul, what is the supreme soul, and what is the connection between the soul and the supreme soul. So why is this important? Because this enables us to develop our levels of consciousness. We move from the physical level towards the spiritual level and identify ourselves as the Atman, the soul that is inherently present in all living beings and is the source of energy. As to speak of, just as an addition to all these topics, we spoke about different methods in which remedies are possible, different topics. There is one more aspect related to astrology, which is Vastu. Vastu is nothing but the scientific way of constructing houses so that it can generate positive energy. And whenever you are residing in a place, you have a lot of importance because most of the time you'll be spending in such places. It is of utmost importance that the place has to generate positive vibes. It has to be very peaceful, calming, and peace-inducing in nature. For this, we have various remedies in Vastu topics. So ultimately, you see, there are different topics. It may be Vedas, it may be in the form of karma theory, it may be in the form of Agnihotra, in the form of understanding the philosophical systems, Vedanta, Vedanga, etc., including Sanskrit studies. The whole aim of this course is to understand the intricacies of our ancient Vedic wisdom. It is not just recitation of mantras. It is not just blind following of some religious activities. It is not so. It is an all-round development, a way of life, a generation of lifestyle in a specific matter. The whole idea of this course is to bridge the gap between the ancient wisdom of Vedas and modern science. What is the ancient wisdom of Vedas is the topics that we explained. These were taught in Gurukulas during previous days for a period of 12 years. But now that there is always, the world is changing, we have different priorities. We have tried to bring out the concise knowledge of this ancient wisdom into this course for a specific tenure of time. And the advantage of learning here is that we are able to develop not only academic interests, not only knowledge in the field, but also bring out in a professional way. And what is this professional way? To become wealth generating practitioners, wellness coaches in the form of consultants, trying to help around people. You could also become research scholars in this domain. There is a lot of scope in this domain today because it bridges the gap between, whatever I mentioned before, ancient Vedic wisdom and modern science, which is the need of the hour. We need to have scientific basis for all the kind of tasks that we do in our daily lives. What is the value that it adds to the society? What is the impact that it performs or it generates at a larger scale, nationwide, it could be continental, etc. So in this direction, the advantages of this course is that we bring about an application model based knowledge transfer. So it will start right at the individual level, where it has to start from within. Because once you are able to learn the knowledge that is provided in this course, you will be able to appreciate what you are doing in your daily life. Your view itself becomes extraordinarily different from what it was before. And once you do it at an individual level, it will definitely have its positive effects on your family, on your peer members, friends, etc. It will grow on a larger scale towards a society, towards a community, towards a state, city, etc. And finally at a national level. And of course, because today the world is on a globalized level, there is also humongous amount of chance to interact with a global team where you connect to different cultures, and ultimately you will be able to realize that all these different systems of knowledge, they all are derived from Vedas ultimately. So with this note, I would like to end my topic, and thank you very much everyone for your patience listening, and thank you very much for the opportunity. Namaste.
Namaste. Now we have our another panel member, Dr. Ruchi Gulati. So I'd like to introduce her. Ruchi Gulati ji, she started her it's a beginning of knowing a spiritual guide and a counselor par excellence, a renowned yoga professional, ex-fashion designer. She's a senior faculty member associated with the various world-renowned yoga institutes across India. She is a founder of Sanyukta Yoga, which she flagged off in June 2017. Born to pious parents with a younger sibling, she did her schooling and studies from Mumbai. She has naturally had a flair for spiritual learning from a noticeable young age and was happy learning and serving her guru at the ashram whenever she could. Moving forward, she developed a keen interest in fashion designing and, with her commendable and a consistent effort, achieved tremendous fame in this field and has received various accolades for her contribution. She was selected for Air France Young Designer Competition at Paris in the year 1993. Welcome, Ruchi Gulati ji. Over to you. Namaste. Thank you so much.
Namaste, namaste. Thank you so much for having me here. Namaste to everyone. So, Aditya ji, as he spoke so beautifully about all the concepts, connecting with the Vedic concepts and connecting it in today's time. So, ancient culture woven into today's times, which is most important. The same concepts which we are using today come from, our deep-rooted, beautiful culture, the heritage, what we call it, the dharohar, what we have with us today. In the ancient times, when the rishis used to really be so beautifully connected with the 5 elements of nature, along with the 5 elements, along with the animals, along with whatever was happening, the rhythm which was happening in the world, the harmony, the rhythm. They realized how each person was breathing, each animal, and so closely they monitored the breathing rhythm, so closely they monitored the activities and the behavioral patterns of every living creature and being around them. And they derived to a conclusion that the mind and the breath are deeply connected. Chale vate, chale chittam, nischalam nischalam bhavet. The mind and the breath are beautifully connected. When your mind is upset, your breath becomes haywire. When your mind is at a complete unrest, whether it is connected with your work, whether it is connected with your personal relationships, whether it is connected at home, wherever, they came to this conclusion that something must be done, because the mind gets restless, the breath goes haywire. Now, how do you control this monkey mind? You can't address it. Keep quiet right now. Don't get upset if somebody has told you something. Don't feel bad if somebody has insulted you. Don't give up on this person because of blah. Mind doesn't listen, because mind has got its own way of operating. They found out a beautiful way of harnessing this monkey mind via the breath. Pranayam. And pranayam, so when I speak about pranayam, I mean, it is such a beautiful topic, so much in depth. You can go on and on understanding, first and foremost, what is pranayam. You are all listening to me. All of you are right now on the panel, on the meeting, listening to me. Simranji just connected and she is listening to me. While she is listening to me, while she was introducing, she was breathing. While Aditya ji was speaking, he was listening. But when you consciously sit down, and if I ask you, now breathe in, now breathe out. Now breathe in from your right nostril. Now breathe out from your left nostril. When you consciously take your mind to that breath, it becomes pranayama. When you are taking your mind consciously and when you are operating, which means the inhalations and the exhalations, again the inhalations and the exhalations, when they are done in a rhythm, when the breath comes in rhythm, which means right now if it is fast, if you have just had an argument, or if you have just had a very bad day at work, or you are upset about something, you are sad about something, the breath is not in rhythm. Now, instead of falling prey to different kind of entertainments outside, which is what is there, of course it is always going to be there. Diverting your mind is another way, but it is very short-lived. When you want a permanent solution to get that mind in your control, slowly you will realize that today if you're upset for a very long time, say for example, for whatever reason you're upset for 4 days, after a certain practice of pranayam in your life, you will start reducing that, that span of being upset. So 6 days, 4 days will come down to 3 days, will come down to 1 day, will come down to probably 8 hours. And then slowly you will realize, oh, why should I get upset? Because this person is going to be this way. Let me just, switch to something else. Let me just move ahead. The releasing and the let go activity of holding on to somebody else's expectations, somebody else's talks, naturally becomes beautiful. Your current breathing pattern is not effortless, but as you begin practicing pranayam, the activity of pran becomes so rhythmic that your entire breathing is effortless. You will breathe in and breathe out in absolute rhythm with yourself. Similarly, because your breath and your mind are beautifully connected, your mind will also fall into that rhythm of being absolutely clear. The natural process of deleting and eliminating all the muck, which is unproductive thoughts, negative thoughts, irrational thoughts, unwanted thoughts, whatever you don't require. Body has its own way to expel. Body is eliminating waste every day. But what about the mind? So your pranayam will have this unwanted waste and clutter releasing on a regular basis. And that's what you want. Decluttering the mind. You have so many, different people asking you, harness the monkey mind, declutter the mind. But what is it actually? What happens? This is how pranayam works beautifully. Now, as you start practicing more and more, pranayam, there are roughly around 60 plus types of pranayam. Basic pranayams are not more than 25. Then there are variations in pranayam, and then you have in-depth pranayams. So you have outer pranayams, you practice, kumbha pranayams, you practice. But even if you practice just simple, basic pranayams, which help you, the list is endless to what pranayams can do. Connecting with your physical health, connecting with your mental health, harnessing your monkey mind, making a difference in your, okay, so physically if you see, like how, we are here to, connect with how it impacts your physical, mental, emotional state of your being. Of course, physically you will see a brightness in your entire being. Pranayam practice. You will see a clarity in your mind. Pranayam practice. You will see emotional well-being within you, which means you will start being more in a positive state, being more in a happier state. You will start seeing things in a different light. Pranayam practice. Intellectually, you will start perceiving things in a very beautiful manner. Before pranayam practice, you will see, oh, my mind gets very tired. I'm unable to perceive. I am not. Pranayam practice, you will be able to absorb, perceive, understand. The maturity that is required to address situations will slowly begin to expand. You are going to be the best version of yourself as your pranayam deepens, physical, mental, emotional, intellectual. Slowly those areas begin to work better. Now this pranayam practice also helps you in what we call it as a dharana practice. Pranayam leads to deep intense concentration. What is dharana? Deep intense concentration. When you are practicing for some time, if I ask you, inhale, exhale. Now in that inhale, exhale, if I ask you to hold your breath for some time, then I ask you, okay, exhale and now suspend your breath for some time. That inhale, exhale, at that time you are not thinking about your work, you are not thinking about your commitments, you're not thinking about the stress at home, you're not thinking about anybody else, but your focus is on the breath alone. So what is happening is slowly you're streamlining yourself to be completely in that moment. Pranayam helps you to be in that moment. You are there, not yesterday, not tomorrow. Simple. Because you were there yesterday, you live in the past and you live in the future, you are always unhappy. But pranayam helps you to stay in the present moment. Hence, the present moment is now, here and now, and it's beautiful. It's a gift. So, this dharana practice, deep, in-depth pranayam, leads to deep, intense concentration. That concentration for the first bit is very limited. Slowly, it begins to deepen and it leads you to a state of dhyana. When we say dharana and when we say dhyana, both come from dha. Dhyana, dharana, dharma, all are dha. The word dha is which sustains and upholds you. Whenever the word dha comes, what is sustaining and upholding? Which is taking you to the higher rung of the ladder. Dharana, dharan, which means you are absorbing, and that absorption is taking you to the next rung of the ladder. Dhyana, that dharana taking into a deep state of dhyana. Dhyana is a sthiti, it's a state. When you practice intense dharana, you slip into dhyana. Because dhyana, it takes you to your subconscious and unconscious. You go into your unconscious where you seldom do not remember. Your conscious mind cannot extract. From the subconscious mind, your mind can extract. You can remember. But when you have gone deep into that, it is very difficult for you to extract. The dhyana sthiti, because you have gone into that deep state, it calms down. It calms on all levels. Your mind has beautiful layers of, being. Currently, all of you are in the conscious mind. Conscious level is listening. But when you move into that deep dharana and go there with the breathing practice, initially, a very hyperactive person may take some time. A very person who has deep anxiety may take some time. There are different practices, but then slowly the person begins to show beautiful changes. So this was about dharana and dhyana. At this beautiful university, you do have something connected with this dharana and dhyana. So to give you a little brief and a gist about and weave it into our spine, students, is beautifully, if you read the Shastras and the Purans, our spine, what we call, is also known as Meru Dand. There's a beautiful story about how the name Meru came from the Meru mountain, for some other day. But that Meru Dand, the spine, right from the nape of your neck till your tailbone, is entwined with lots of nadis. And I'm using the word nadis and not channels, because the word nadis is itself, there is no loosely translated word also, because channels would not do justice to nadi. When in Ayurveda, when a person just checks your nadis and tells you whether you have a vata dosha or a kapha dosha or a pitta dosha, those nadis are intertwined across your spine. Just like you have a lot of electrical wires, along an electrical pole. Now these nadis, they have pran within them. Pran, we just spoke about pran. As you deepen your practices of pranayam, the impurities, mala is your impurities, your vikar, from the body begins to, and I'm speaking in a very simplified term, the mala vikar from your body begins to come on the surface. You start throwing out, expelling all the impurities. Body inside also has. The body may look very beautiful outside, but the impurities exist. It could be because of food, it could be because of thoughts, it could be because of lifestyle, it could be because of a lot of factors. Those impurities, as they begin to release and move out, the pran begins to flow in these nadis. Now, this pran, at certain junctions along the spine, it meets, because these nadis are intertwining and the pran runs, it meets at certain junctions along the spine. 7 inside the body and a lot many more outside. So above your crown, below your root, so many. But because we are studying right within the body, there are 7. These energy junctions or these centers where there is maximum flow of pran, and because they are intertwined, the pran is flowing maximum, they are known as chakras. These chakras, what we call them as vortexes or wheels. Well, chakras. Chakra, the word chakra means round. But why round? Because they are moving in that circular motion. Each chakra moves in that motion, hence the chakra. Why do we need to understand the chakra? Do these chakras actually exist? Very much. Can a physical orthopedic surgeon dissect your spine and actually visualize those chakras? No. Well, that even a neurosurgeon cannot dissect your skull or cut open your skull and see your mind and intellect. Cannot. Or your Vivek Buddhi for that matter. But they do exist. The chakras exist within every human being who is present on this planet. They are situated at certain junctions in the body and they are carrying immense energy. That energy, spaced out or distributed at those 7 junctions, takes care of that area. For example, the base chakra takes care of all the body parts, the organs at your root chakra, which means it looks after your large intestine, it looks after your gallbladder, it looks after your elimination of your urine, your fecal matter, it looks after your menstrual cycle, it looks after that. Similarly, if you see the heart center, it looks after your lungs, it looks after your, in women it also looks after breasts. So women having any kind of issues, for example breast cancer or any kind of problems connecting, yes, the energy at that center is affected. How does this energy get affected at these places? Due to emotions residing in the body at different places. Human beings are beautiful creatures and we are blessed with a beautiful body. We are blessed with a body which can fall sick but at the same time can be better with natural remedies. We have emotions, at the same time we have all the techniques to overcome these emotions. It is such a beautiful natural way to understand. Do you ever wonder, do you ever understand that this body, which is in its own process of moving towards, each step we move towards deterioration. We are not going to be remaining the same what we are. We are moving towards deterioration. But at the same time, God has provided us. If there is a machinery within, God has provided us how to look after the machinery, how to keep that machinery intact, how to make that machinery work till you are existing in this beautiful body. It's an amazing piece of art by Him. So the emotions are also blessed by Him. They are given to us by Him. We are absolutely operating under the influence of emotions. If all of you understand and agree, all of us work under the heavy influence of deep emotions, whether it's an emotion of anger, whether it's an emotion of hatred, jealousy, love, also an emotion, lust, greed, desires, so many emotions. Now these emotions, when they are not fulfilled, number 1, when they are suppressed, number 2, when they are not expressed, number 3, they settle down. For example, you get deeply upset or angry with something. Anger is a common emotion, mostly present in most human beings. So I am using the anger emotion. And when you get very angry, you get very agitated, you get very... So anger and ego are 2 sides of the same coin. And when you get very angry, what happens is you are unable to speak at certain places, most of the places. The expression of anger isn't there. If it is there, also there is another way to look at it. But when it's not there, what happens is it settles down. Where does it settle? It usually comes down and settles in your abdominal region. So that anger settling in the abdominal region is where your solar plexus is. And now solar plexus is already your heaty chakra. It is a chakra which has fire, where anger is also fire. So what happens? you start experiencing heat, which creates more acidity. Hence, the physical body experiences acidity. Physical body experiences probably, some sort of a abdominal issue, or you could have digestion issues, or you could have heavy, you could just probably have loose motions, or you could have peptic ulcers, or so on. Just an example. But this is how the emotions work. Now, understanding chakras at Vedic Wellness University in depth, to understand each emotion, to understand how these chakras work, to understand how to work on those emotions so that you can enhance your entire being, so that you can be the best version of yourself, so that you can make your life more beautiful and pass it on to others. The purpose to be here at this beautiful place is so that you absorb, you yourself learn, and then you can, pass this to the rest of the world. It not just serves as a beautiful way to make your entire career, but it also has a lot of goodness connected. Remember, career, there are so many in this world, but when you have something which you love, which you are passionate about, and at the same time it has goodness, a goodness where you feel you can contribute something, you earn, you work hard, you earn, you learn, and then you return. You always have to do this. Until and unless you don't return back, that earning, learning, it is all, not happening to the best. You have to return, and that returning before you leave, and that returning will beautifully happen when you experience at this place. So, pranayam, meditation, and the beautiful chakra theory. So, chakra dharana is, you can go on and on about chakras. You can understand how chakras function. Each chakra has a beautiful emotion connected to it. You can overcome difficulties in your life. Can you reverse, things with your chakras? Absolutely. Does chakra help you overcome your diseases, ailments? Absolutely. Does chakra help you? There is something which Aditya ji also spoke about, karma. So, along with the chakras and along with there is also the karmic bag, what we call it, the jar of karma. And that is also deeply embedded at the base of your spine. So, doing this or doing this or doing this is going to henceforth help you in your life. But what has already been done and come, you will have to bear the brunt of it as well. So, understanding chakras and karmas is really, really important for you to be able to live what you experience and experience what you are living. So, understanding life in a very simple way, yet in a very profound way, connecting with what our Vedic wisdom holds for us with the modern way. Amalgamation of both is very important. So, yeah, with this, I would end my talk on this. I just wanted to give a little brief about how pranayams are, how it takes you into dharana. From dharana, you go into dhyan, and how this entire, because I use the word dharana because in chakra, when you have chakra dharana, you move into the state of absolute bliss. Chakras are subtle, these energy bodies existing. And when you're able to see this, you do sometimes get visuals of what is connected with your past life also. So there is no past life regression, but you do realize, all right, this must have been this, hence I am suffering this. You become a witness to what is happening. So at any given point of time, you will never ask yourself, why me? You will always understand the reason for everything that is happening around you. So, thank you so much.
Very beautifully explained, Dr. Ruchi Gulati. In fact, like for the lay person also, they're already in a meditative state, I would say, after listening to you with no experience. Yeah, very well. Thank you. Having this course launched so that we can create a platform for all Vedic consultants to practice. And we not only give you all this 360-degree view of wellness, that is the 5 dimensions of wellness, we also allow you to get transformed during this process. And this transformation will give you enough space, enough experience, enough support from our system that you can open your own coaching consultancy, and you can practice this at a professional level. That is the very aim of having this course launched. Yeah, as mentioned, we'll be addressing all the 5 dimensions of wellness, like the physical aspects of wellness, mental aspects of wellness, social, financial, and the spiritual aspect. So, actually, once we spiritually evolve, all the other aspects will be actually taken care of. We were discussing with Aditya ji. Aditya ji, you can come on and we can just continue that discussion for 2 minutes, like how we were explaining, like how the spirituality is the core of wellness and how it affects all the other dimensions also. You can just talk on that 2 minutes. So.
Sure. Thanks, Rashmiji. So the other day we were discussing about this 5-dimensional wellness when we came up with this concept, and then we tried to picturize it in the form of a square with 4 nodal points, and spirituality is the center of the square. Spirituality, why we say it is a center of a square, is because the spirit, what we call today, there is no equivalent English word which represents the Atman that we talk about in Vedic Sanskritam. Atman is the life force energy. It can be, loosely called as the soul or anything. So it is like a core center which enables this body to perform any kind of operation, be it very trivial as just, just getting up in the morning, to the highest level of tasks which enable the body to be in a maintenance state. Dr. Ruchiji mentioned about breathing, mindfulness, awareness, controlling of emotions, etc. So these are at different levels. The 4 corners of the square can be represented by physical realm, mental realm, financial realm, social realm, while the center of the square is the spiritual realm. At the physical level, it is all about our daily activities, our routines, all the kind of actions and reactions that we come across in our daily life. It is the spirit which enables us to generate energy. Any kind of food that we take inside in our body, it has to be digested. It has to be converted into different forms. And that happens right from the energy which is generated by the spirit, by the Atman, I would say, rather than mentioning it as spirit. Now, this is at the physical level. At the mental level, the actions are in the form of, we could classify into 3 types. One is the psychological, second one is the emotional, and third one is the intellectual. What is psychological? Psychological is specific to an individual. It talks about the state in which the individual starts thinking as a reaction to the external stimulus. Emotional level is about generation of different kinds of emotions in the form of likes or dislikes, anger, greed, happiness, sadness, etc. And these are when interacting with different stimulus in the environment. And at the intellectual level, it is about logical and analytical thinking, which is based on reasoning. This constitutes your mental realm. The third realm is the social realm. Social realm is, we all know human is a social being. We interact with each other. It cannot be that we live in isolation. There is no possibility of any kind of sustenance in isolation. So it happens that we interact with different kinds of people, not only within the family. Of course, we have differences of opinion within the family, it gets extrapolated to a community, to a city, nation, and even globally. There are different cultures with different viewpoints. What appears to be correct from the point of view for one culture appears to be completely opposite to the other culture. So it also matters that we have a very good social environment when we interact with our peers, right from the family level till the global level. And the fourth point of the square is financial wellness. We all know that not only money, but any kind of prosperity in the form of food, in the form of shelter, in the form of any other basic needs like water, animal
Abundance, you can
husbandry.
say.
Sorry?
Abundance, yeah.
Abundance, any kind of abundance, any kind of prosperity is very important. And it is not only generation of such wealth, but also maintenance of such wealth that matters. It should be a continuous process. It should be consistent in nature, not just, there should not be ups and lows. That what enables to develop a proper society. Now, these four things are perceivable at certain level. For example, the physical realm is directly perceivable through our sense organs. The mental level through the internal cell organs like the mano, buddhi, chitta, and ahankara. The mind, intellect, ego, etc. And then financial and social wellness is pretty straightforward. You see financial realm in terms of properties, prosperity, etc. And of course, social realm when we interact with different kinds of people. But then maintaining a harmony between all these things is really tough today. Because in the name of globalization, as Dr. Ruchiji mentioned previously, we all work in order to earn money. But there are people who are really not happy. They're not feeling good that they have to work, but they're not feeling good at the end of the day. And this is what, from our university, from this amazing university, we are trying to approach the problem with a solution. That this is not only just earning money, it is not only maintaining a calm and peaceful mind, it is not only having a better relationship between your family members or with your societal members, not only just performing actions that you love, not only just bringing a balance between the mind and the body, but also involving the spiritual aspect, getting to know the philosophical aspect. Once you realize this kind of understanding that it is the Atman which is imperishable, it forms the core of everything. It is identical to the Supreme Soul, whom we call as Brahman. It has a relationship with Brahman. Then we become self-sufficient. We lose unwanted attachments, which bring down our levels of consciousness. We develop certain traits. We connect to our roots, which enables us to build up our level of consciousness. We go to the highest level of consciousness. We stop differentiating between pain and happiness, stop differentiating between anger and distress. Any kind of emotions, everything is balanced together, and it is we are aiming at bringing back the lifestyle which was followed by the Vedic seers, where India was an abundant country, and we would like to bring it more forward. Also, what value does it add to people who are in the West already? It bridges that gap between East and West. What is that gap that is being seen? Due to invasions across centuries, we have been observing that the West is more rational, more, trying to understand only in terms of perceivable objects until and unless they get to know proof through the form of speech, through the form of vision, through the form of hearing something, they will not agree. And we in the East, or specifically in our Vedic tradition, we define things which are beyond the perception of our bodily sense organs. And this is what we want to connect it to the West. And we want to add a scientific basis to what we do. As I mentioned previously, we are looking for not only a theoretical aspect, but also on an application-based model, where when we are reciting mantras, when we are, getting the knowledge of any kind of information related to Vedas, we are also thinking about the meaning behind it. We are establishing the connection. Dr. Ruchiji mentioned about the connection between the chakras and emotions. How are emotions derived through chakras? And how can emotions be controlled by balancing of chakras? And how can mantric incantations, mantras, manana trayateti mantraha, which means that which keeps on resonating with remembrance, with chanting, is known as mantra. So how can mantra bring about the law of attraction and manifestation, what we see today? How can we bring about a balance in society? How can we bring about improvement in our lifestyle? How can we address the problems that today software engineers are facing? A lot of problems. They are under stress. Businessmen are under stress. They are working like donkeys, but they do not understand the purpose of life. And it is at this university that we are enabling people to understand the purpose of life. Once they realize it, sooner the better. They will be, again, just quoting Dr. Ruchiji, that she mentioned that it starts with the self, and you also feel good about what you do. You start earning money and you also help others. You transfer this knowledge to others, which keeps on building up. And then ultimately it becomes a well-balanced lifestyle.
Yeah, I would
So-
like to add 2 lines here. Thank you, Aditya ji. We are going away from our Prakriti, we are going away from our Samskriti. We are going away from our nature, we are going away from our culture. That is where we need to fill the gap to achieve total wellness. Earlier generation never faced all these wellness issues like how we are facing. That is because of the same thing what I mentioned. We need to imbibe our nature, like we need to come close to our nature, accept our nature and our culture. So
Yes.
the earlier generation had all these things. They were culturally very richly rooted, and even their practices, their diet, everything was close to nature. That is how I would like to say and end today's masterclass. Let's all come closer to nature and imbibe our culture, and we'll all be in total wellness.